Hi everybody, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you all from Island Grove Studios. It's that time of year again where I wanted to rewatch some of the Christmas movies I loved growing up, and one of those movies I watched was How the Grinch Stole Christmas, directed by Chuck Jones, and there are so many little animation bits that I wanted to share with you. They're so cool and they're so interesting that I wanted to make a little video about it. First thing I wanted to point out was just how amazing the backgrounds are. They're very simple, but they're very graphic. It's the same kind of look that the Looney Tunes have, which makes sense because Chuck Jones directed the Looney Tunes as well as this movie. This one, when the Grinch is walking through the cave to make his Santa suit, this vignetting of the darkness around the cave and then the brightness inside of it. Same thing with this shot, it's a similar thing. These exterior shots right here are really cool. Solid blue backgrounds, but you're getting texture from like the film when they're filming it. You can see the texture, the grain of the film, which really adds a nice touch to it. I mean, they shot it on film. There was no digital back then, so it makes sense, right? And then later on in the movie, when the Grinch has a change of heart, the sky becomes like a magenta and yellow at the end of the movie, which really signifies like the change of character arc. Yeah, the backgrounds are just amazing. Another cool thing that I wanted to point out was just some evidence of the animation itself, which is really cool to see. In the production of the movie, they do their pencil test for the animation, but when they're ready to finalize the shot, they ink and paint on a cell, which is a clear, transparent sheet of paper. It's not paper, but it's plastic. You can see the transparency coming through the ink. They zoom the camera so far in that you can see these little details in the ink, which is really awesome. This could be cool in Blender too, or 3D if you're doing this kind of look in 3D. Give your outline a bit of texture like this and you can kind of emulate that sort of look, that cell look. Really cool. Another cool part of these old school animations is some of the mistakes that are made, but they're more just little hints of the craft and add to the charm of the movie. For this example, you can see the blue on this guy's hat popping in and out. They're painting each frame of the animation. It's on a loop, so these animations, a lot of these animations are looped to cut down on production time and money and cost. They loop all of these little animations. That's why a lot of when the Grinch is going through all the things that the Whoville people do, all of these cycles are loops of these characters doing a very simple motion that they're just looping over and over again to extend the scene longer. But in reality, the animation is only probably like 10 frames or less maybe, but they're looping that over and over again to make the shot a bit longer. But because they're looping, you can see here the blue, his hat is popping blue every now and then. That's because when they're doing the loop of the animation, for some reason the hat got painted blue on one frame, and so when they're looping that, the hat just goes blue for a couple frames in that loop. The hat should be white in this whole sequence, but for some reason it got painted blue for whatever reason. Another one that was funny was here when the Grinch is talking about stopping Christmas. You can see the animation of the head and the hair are separate. The head is moving. You can see a little bit of a shadow from two layers of cell overlapping one another. You can see the shadow of it a bit. His head moves, but his hair stays still because in order to cut down on time, they're just animating that one part of the body and keeping the other part static, but you can see the separation a little bit. Really fun. Another really cool thing I found in this movie was when they were animating this shot here, this close-up, and his teeth are locked in place and he's just moving around his teeth. You can see here that the teeth do not move and all of the mouth movements are happening around it, and that's because they animated just his face and they just had an image of the teeth in the background. And I found a piece of behind the scenes footage that outlines exactly what's happening here. So this pencil test shows you, it's a little creepy because you can see the teeth and stuff, but you can see here that the teeth are completely still and they're animating the lips and the face on top of the teeth. So you get this really cool effect where the teeth are staying completely still, but the mouth is doing so much animating. Because if you were to animate each tooth, you'd see the teeth kind of wiggling a bit from all those multiple drawings. But if you have one image of the teeth and you animate on another layer on top of that, and then you can just mask out what you see inside the mouth. And then when they go to ink and paint, they're gonna leave the part of the inside of the mouth blank so you can see the underlying layer of the teeth in the mouth. Really cool stuff. And the last bit of animation I wanted to share with you was just this little gag I thought was really funny when the Grinch is coming down the hill with all the presents. the Who's are circling around. When he's coming through, they open like a gate and then close behind him. I just thought that was really kind of slapstick Looney Tunes humor. I thought that was really funny. So those are just a couple things I found really fun about How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I hope all of you have a great holiday season. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2026.